All right, so as the slide shows, today we, of course, Noah, 7 laws and the book of Genesis, that's our topic. And we learn idolatry, the first commandment of Noah from chapter 1. And today, class number 12, is title is talking about nature as a beautiful idol. So what do I mean? Idolatry, as we define it, comprises of 2 parts. First of all, you need to know God, whom to worship. And then you need to know the idol, whom you should worship not. So until now, we dedicated our class to understand who is God. According to Genesis chapter 1, we stuck to that chapter. And we discussed what the name of our God is from chapter 1, what is oneness. If you breach oneness, it's a sort of idolatry. Of course, if you deny God existence, it's idolatry. And even if you split the attribute, like in Noah's time and in our time, it's idolatry. We discussed it at length. Now it's about time to move on to the idols. To define, according to chapter 1, who are the idols that are involved, that are prohibited under the commandment of idolatry. So how do you define idol? And what is it? And who are those idols that we are forbidden to worship? So we switch now from identifying God, talking about God. Now we dedicate our classes to define idolatry. Now behind me is this miraculous verse that everything depends on that verse. Elohim said that let us make an Adam in our form, in our image. Here is Elohim announcing the first time ever. He never did it before. Usually he said, before that he used to say, let it be grass, let it be light, but he never announced any plan. Now he announces a plan, which is unusual, a plan how to make Adam in our form, in our image. And the verse, if you look at the verse, it's very vague. To whom he's talking? Let us, in our form, in our image. So the Torah leaves it quite open, undefined, perhaps on purpose. It leaves it in the open. So who are so to whom does he speak? As the Midrash fill the vacuum here, as you know, and many quote this Midrash, a series of Midrashim. Elohim turned to various entities like peace, the angels, and to the truth, and so on. And he asked them, would you like to participate in Adam creation? And they all said, no. Truth said no. Peace said no. And even the angels said no. Because why? Because they were fearful, or they knew that Adam will violate them all. So that's a whole line of midrashim that we learn from when we discuss that verse. But the Rashi focused on one such consultation with the angels. And Rashi said that Elohim, besides discussing, consulting truth and peace, he also addresses own angels. And he said, let us, me and you, make Adam in our form, in our image. Do you agree? So according to the Rashi, angel says, our king, what are you doing? Why you consult us at all? Are we not your faithful messengers who usually fulfill your wish with no discretion? We have no discretion. What do you ask us? And they are right, because angels in Hebrew, malach, is simply a messenger. Even a human messenger is malach. So they ask him, why do you consult us? We are your faithful messenger, no point. So Elohim, according to Rashi, Elohim says, I know, my angel, but I consult you nevertheless, because I want to teach Adam how to rule. That the superior will always consult the inferior. That's Rashi. So to teach Adam modesty. Adam will be arrogant, and I like to teach him modesty, and the superior will consult the inferior. Now, pay attention to the way the angel addressed him. They say, our king. Why they call him our king? Because he was no dictator anymore. During the 6 days, as we learned in the past, during the 6 days, he just gave order like a dictator, consulting no one. Now suddenly he descended from his high pedestal as a dictator. He became a king. He spoke like a king who consult, a democratic king. And that's how he asked the question. He asked the angels, and he wanted to teach Adam to do the same thing, to step down from pedestal of dictatorship and to rule himself and our world as a king who consults, as a democratic king. So here is part one of the discussion between Elohim and the angel. After saying that, after Elohim answered, I consult you nevertheless, because I want to teach Adam modesty. The angel continued to ask, our king, but are you not afraid that by speaking in plural, you open the door for idolaters to think that there are more than one creator and speak in plural? Are you not fearful of that? So Elohim, the king, answered, I'm aware of it, but I take the risk, because the teaching Adam modesty is paramount. I take the risk of idolatry, and I speak in plural, because teaching Adam modesty is paramount. So that makes the question of the angel is very meaningful, because by speaking in plural, becoming the democratic king, it means that Elohim allow opposition. The nature of democracy is allowing opposition to exist. Otherwise, it's a dictatorship. So here, Elohim stepped down, spoke in plural the first time, become a democratic. At that moment, he allowed opposition to himself to exist. So here is what we have said, that by making Adam speak in plural, you open the door for idolaters, because that's the nature of the king, of the new kingship. By the way, here is a message for Noah. Democracy is not just a nice, sensible way of governmentship, better than others. No, it's sanctioned by the Torah. So the Noahide, when they spread democracy in the world, our task is to spread of democracy in the world, not only because it's nice and makes sense and sensible and give a door, to open the door for anyone to voice his view, but it's sanctioned by Elohim, by God, by making us. Let's remember that message. Democracy is sanctioned by the Torah. So Elohim now spoke in plural and allow opposition to exist, which means allow idolatry to exist. Idolatry means to voice any other opinion, or to worship other God. Elohim will not erase or punish mankind just because he voiced opposition, because he became a king who consulted. He tolerated opposition to a degree. So by idolatry itself is never in the Torah enough cause for Elohim to intervene. Yes, if you slide down from idolatry to adultery, bloodshed, and become evil, show evil, that's a different story. But idolatry by itself is not, as long as it's forbidden, but never, the Torah never punished anyone just because of idolatry itself. Now, Elohim at least doesn't do it. He tolerates, as you see around us. So we go back to the question then, who are the idols? So he allows idolatry to exist. So who are those idols that he allowed to exist? And the answer is, first of all, in principle, any imaginary force, any entity that people have on their mind to worship other than God can be an idol. So there's no limit here to identify who the idol is and who is not. Anyone who replaces God in our mind, it can be imaginary force or real force, it's an idol. But still, the rabbis, or the Midrash, let's say, want to stick to the verse. Elohim opened the door here by speaking in plural, and he opened the door for idolaters to think that there are more than one creator. So by the consultation, he opened the door for specific idols. So who are the idols? Who are those idols? Anyone who God consulted with here, when he says, let us make Adam, he spoke to entities. Those entities that he invites them to participate in Adam creation, each one of them can be perceived as a partner of Elohim, or even as powerful as Elohim, or even replacing Elohim. So the verse itself, the way he made us, dictate or define who the idols that the Torah here has in mind. So who are those idols? So to whom did he speak? And we said it several times. Anyone who was listening in chapter 1, anyone that is mentioned in chapter 1, any entity, he spoke to them. So Elohim said, the Torah, Moses built it up in this way. Elohim is on the sixth day making Adam, and he said, let us, anyone in the room, anyone in the chamber, in the chapter, let us together make Adam. Anyone in this chapter. That's a major line of thinking in the Midrash. So who are those entities that he consulted with? So he consulted those entities, invited them to make Adam to participate. And those entities are, each one in consultation, so to speak, contributed one layer in Adam. Adam is built like a dummy, layer by layer, by series of consultation. Each consultation with the entity is contribute one layer in Adam in soul. Like what? What I'm talking about. For instance, he consulted the 6 days. They are chapter 1. And the king consulted each of the days, and he asked them, could you let us make Adam in our form and our image? This way, he made Adam's body from the best material that he has around. We are built from the 6th day. Then I just give you the headline. We'll discuss it in detail in a minute. Then he turned to his wisdom by which he created the world. And he continued and he planted this wisdom in Adam, another layer. And then he consulted the passion and passion desires and planted in Adam. He consulted his self-consciousness and planted in Adam. And many such entities that are mentioned in chapter 1. And he made Adam accordingly. It's like a CEO for modern company that is going to build a humanoid, and he asks his different experts, different branches of the company. You contribute the body, you contribute the mind. You make me. This part of the company will make passion. This is what. So it's a very modern description of making Adam. How different it is. Remember, Moses wrote it 3,500 years ago. At a time that all the nations around him, including the Egyptians, believed in very strange, very weird stories about creation of Adam, ugly stories, full of sexual perversion, weird stories. I don't mean to repeat it. So at that time, Moses gave us a report, which sounds like a very modern company, CEO company. God created Adam by consultation, by inviting different branches of the company to make Adam. That's amazingly, just by itself, it's standing out as who told it to Moses 3,500 years ago when he was trained in Pharaoh. We know what Pharaoh believed. It's strange, weird stories. I don't want to repeat them now. So, by this series of consultation that we're going to talk now in detail, Elohim created Adam layer by layer to make him to Elohim is a provider. Elohim, you know, is a judge, is harsh judge. He is a provider. He's fair, he's harsh, but he's also the provider. He provides every creature that he creates with all the talents that the creature needs. We look around, we see it. How he gives the gills to the fish, the wing to the bird, the tooth to the crocodile, and there are so many zillion species in the sea and above the sea, warm water and cold water. each creature, small or big, are completely adapted to its environment by special talent. So Elohim, that wisdom, that talent that Elohim gave to each creature to thrive in his environment, he also gave it to Adam. He created in Adam those features, gave us this gift of smart mind, of body, in order that we can thrive and excel in Elohim world. He is a provider. So the same way he treated other creatures, he also treated us. So he gave us those gifts that we should appreciate, but also enriching our life. He gave us also the ability not to enjoy, to create science, to create art, to enjoy it. And he planted in us also the passion or the ability to be fascinating by those very gifts. We are fascinating by nature. We are fascinating by our science. We are fascinated by art, by beauty. Those features that implanted us, including the ability to be fascinated, to adore, to stand in awe. All that enriching our life and allow us to live a meaningful life in Elohim habitat that he gave us, precious gift. But Elohim at the same time is telling us, man, enjoy nature. Look at it, how beautiful it is. I gave it the ability to be fascinated by it. But don't forget me. Don't forget the one who created nature. You can be so carried out and adore nature that you forget me. Man, I gave you science to enjoy, create, improve your world, expand your habitat, understand where you are, enjoy it. But don't forget me. Don't make it an idol. And don't forget me, the one that I gave it to you. That's it's the essence of idolatry. If you worship science, forgetting Elohim, so that means you abandon the one that created science and gave it to you. Elohim said, I gave you so much, planted in you desires and passions that you enjoy life, that those desires will push you forward to achieve things. Enjoy them, fulfill your desires, but don't forget me. He planted it in you. And don't make those passion desire an idol, and so on. So here we see how giving Adam the gift, a precious gift that they are become so magical in our eyes, and we are drawn to adore them, to appreciate them, and to appreciate their contribution to our lives. And we turn to swept away so much you can forget God, who planted all these things. And that's the meaning of idolatry. So this is why that we say that the same verse that announces the creation of Adam, the same verse allows idolatry to exist. What kind of idolatry? To fall a prey to this attraction that we have to these various gifts that we will worship those gifts instead of forget about the one who gave it to us. I'll show you the first. Let's move on today to the first consultation, so everything will be clearer when we start to talk about the consultation themselves. The first consultation, as we said, are the 6 days. So Elohim is standing on the day 6. He wants to create Adam. He looks around and he says, he look and he says, let us make Adam and me. Let me and you creation 6 days. Make Adam in our form, in our image. So he looked at he consulted each day separately. He looked at the first day and he said, let make Adam in our form, in our image. So he looked at it and he looked at the day 1 and he used it, he consulted it. Consulted means he also used it as a blueprint to make Adam. He consulted like a builder consult a master plan. So that's why our body are made of stuff that our stars are made of. As the song, the word of the song say. Because he looked at it, day 1, and we are built with molecules that are baked in nova, exploring nova, organic art. It took billions of years to develop. So you look at those processes and he made it Adam. That's true. Then he turned to day 2 and said, to day 2, let us, me and you, make an Adam. And he looked at the water, day 2 is water, world, and he consulted the water and make Adam body from it. 90% of our body is water. He goes to day 3, the vegetation, from DNA, from the little protozoa with 1 cell to vegetation, big vegetation. He said, let's me and you create Adam. And vegetation agrees, so to speak. And Elohim made Adam body, a layer in Adam body. It made of contribution from vegetation. How do I know? I look at my eyes. The photosynthesis that our eyes perform are derivative from the photosynthesis of the vegetation. The DNA that we have in our body, each cell in our body comes from day 3, from vegetation and day 3. Our blood cells that branch out in our body are like trees. All of that comes from contribution of vegetation to our body. Then you look at day 4, and he said, let us, me and you, make Adam. And they form, contribute to our body the ability to distinguish between day and night, to distinguish seasons, and to sleep, the ability to sleep and wake up, without which our nervous system wouldn't exist. The scholars, the scientists say that without the ability to rest at night, circadian cycle, what we call, nervous system, even if a small worm, won't exist. Every nervous system needs the ability to sleep and discharge, charge its waste, and wake up and start again. That's all contribution of day 4. And then to complete the story, he consulted day 5, and he consulted the fish, and a bird, and a crocodile. And then day 6, consulted the bees, the cattle, and the bees, and the bees, and the snakes, and all that. He consulted them and each one of them made a contribution to Adam. So Adam is summary of all the 6 days that preceded us. Is that true? Well, is it scientifically sound concept? Look at the embryo. We all of us develop from a single cell to divide into two cells. We then look like a vegetation, then we look like a fish, we look like a bird. Each one of us actually passed the entire evolution, in our mother womb. In fact, the scholar actually put a note, a classical statement that the ontogenesis repeat the phylogenesis. So each one of us, the ontogenesis, this individual, repeat the phylogenesis, the species, the evolution. So here comes science, and here comes Moses and say something that science only now understand. That he consulted the sixth day, each day, and made us. And that's why we are fascinated by nature. That's why we identify by nature. We are not alien here. We are part of nature. If we identify with nature, that's a big gift. I can look at the bird and I can emphasize, I can empathize. I know what she wants. I have not only by mind, I feel what she feels, so to speak. And why it's important, if you want, because if Elohim wants us to rule, he bless Adam, rule your habitat, at the end of chapter 1, rule over. Now a king cannot be an alien. A king must be a king who consult. A dictator can be alien, but a king who consult the subject must be elected from among the subject. So by the fact that we are part of nature, we can lead it. Lead it not in terms of dictatorship, but in terms of listening and consulting and understanding. And so we can lead nature to what? To the next day of creation, to the Sabbath. So all that intertwined. And this is the idea behind how he consulted nature and made us. But now we come to the other part. We just said that by being fascinated by the nature, and by fascinated by water, and by the beauty of vegetation, the beauty of fish, and man is drawn to worship them. But this consultation is great. Elohim gave us a huge gift, but it came with a price, the price of democracy, which is a rejection, objection, opposition. And mankind can be so drawn to those 6 days that they can worship item in nature and forget the Creator. Is it true? Let's see if it's true. Let's see if I'm right, historically. Man is standing on the 6th day, ready on the 6th day, and he looks around him. What does he see? Creatures that are created like him on the 6th day, close to him. Cows, sheep, something close to him. So he worship, they are so magnificent to him. He said he adored them. Because nature fascinated him. So he tended to worship holy cows. The Philistine worship even fly. The Greek worship beasts, the huge cattle, and dragons, the Chinese. All that is 6 days. Well, this is very ancient, but man became a little smarter, So you look deeper in nature. In day 5, what does you see there? You see the fish, crocodile, birds. Look at the Egyptian god. They all have face of fish and crocodile and birds. Exactly like what Moses said was created on day 5. That's the Egyptian god. They all look like it. The big head, body of a man, but the head is either fish or crocodile or bird. Very common. Other nations too, not only the Egyptian. So man gets smarter in history, and he goes deeper in nature. In day 4, what does he see day 4? Constellation of skies, sun and the moon. And he is not worshiping the foolish crocodile anymore, but the stars, the constellation. Look at the Babylonians. Smarter Babylonians, smarter than the Egyptians. They develop astrology. They believe the constellation of the stars control man's fate. They impact history. They invented the clock and all these things. 12 hours, all this invention of mathematics, it's Babylonian. Coming, worshipping items of day 4. Well, other nations get smarter even, and they worship day 3. Magnificent trees, vegetation, like the Canaanite. The Canaanite, very poetic, very emotional, and they were impressed by the beauty of vegetation. The Canaanite went to Elohim, actually, day 3, Elohim implanted the seed of life, the fertility itself. Now, the Canaanite, as it happened, the goddess, Baal and Ashtoreth, were the idols of fertility. They worship fertility of day 3, sacred prostitution. They were smart, they were very advanced. They know about astrology, they know about the Egyptian, but they are smarter, more emotional, more poetical. As you see in the archives, beautiful songs and passionate song and fertility, that's smart. It's also very effective. The best, you can find out the best girl in town. So, in other nations, even smarter than the Canaanite, let's say the Greek, they worship the sea, Poseidon. And now they worship the wisdom, Athens, and so on. They develop higher level of entities that may be associated with day 2, day 1. They were philosophers. They were thinking about the origin of the world, of the universe. Science, yeah. All that is day 1. So as you see, mankind actually followed this prediction of Moses, that Moses said that the same gift that Elohim made us, would turn into an idol, a source of idol worshipping in history. So far, his words were fulfilled perfectly well. And we are now at the age, we are looking at the very origin of the universe. And many of us think that quantum physics is where we should find out the source of our creator. In fact, there are alternative universes. Oh, if you want to where we are, where we come from there. from singular point. They don't even talk anymore about the Big Bang, but the singularity. But some people even look at the minor singularity, even other universes before, which can explain by quantum physics. Because quantum physics allows so many alternatives at the same time. All of them are true. So, now we know where we come from. Now we know why we recognize our creator. As God is saying, what is he saying? Enjoy your physics. Enjoy your science. Be fascinated by it. Enjoy the beauty of it. Use it. Cultivate it. But don't forget me. Don't forget the one who created all that. And don't forget me that planted this appreciation of beautiful nature in you. Because if you do, you violate oneness. No, you violate idolatry for your detrimental. Because if you forget me, my boy, you will slide easily to down the slope, slippery slope, to adultery, bloodshed, theft. It's given to us. It's planted in us. If you violate number 1, you will violate number 2, number 3, number 4, number 6. Chapter 2 in Eden will tell us more about the other command. Right now we are dealing with number 1, idolatry. And God simply say here, man, you are born to stand this challenge. Enjoy, I gave you so many gifts. Enjoy them, but don't forget, don't worship them and forget me. I think next, so we are now again, as you see, we are dealing now with the idols, and we discussed today how the Torah, according to the Torah, who are the idols? Anyone who God consulted with to our favor as a gift, it may turn into an idol. And number 1 is it made out of body from consulting the 6th day. Wow, it's true to the scientifically and historically. This consultation gave us precious gift, but at the same time has served, and still serving as a trap for idolatry, as a source for idolatry. Now, with whom did he consult next? According to chapter 1. And before the 6th day, there is a wisdom by which he constructed the universe. The science and wisdom. So the rabbi said, in the same token, Ramban actually quoted in the Torah text that you have in your hand. The Rambam quotes this midrash that Elohim consulted with the wisdom and science by which he created the world and made us. Special, beautiful gift. But what an idol. Science has become the most threatening idol to God in our eyes today. People believe in science. Science can solve everything. Forget about Elohim. Well, that's our topic next time. I stop here. Any question that you have from our class today?